Hey adventurers, welcome back to another Poetry Thursday video. I am very excited to do this. This is going to be the Lady of Shalott by both Alfred, Lord Tennyson, and Loreena McKennitt. So I knew the Loreena McKennitt song, and I love the Loreena McKennitt song. And then I read in Le Morte d'Arthur the story that the Lady of Shalott is based on, and I loved it. And so I then learned that, oh, this was also by Tennyson. And so I was like, okay, well now I've got to go read the Tennyson original poem that The Lady of Shalott by Loreena McKennitt is based on. And so that's my idea for this video, is to read both Tennyson's The Lady of Shalott and Loreena McKennitt, and kind of, I don't know that I'll get much to comparing them, but I love them both, and so I really want to just go through and read them and maybe see if we have things to talk about at the end. The Lady of Shalott by Alfred, Lord Tennyson, Part 1. On either side the river lie long fields of barley and of rye, that clothe the wold and meet the sky, and through the field the road runs by, to many-towered Camelot. The yellow-leaved water-lily, the green-sheafed daffodilly, tremble in the water chilly round about Shalott. Willows whiten, aspens shiver, the sunbeam showers break and quiver, in the stream that runneth ever by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot. 4 grey walls and 4 grey towers overlook a space of flowers, and the silent isle embowers the Lady of Shalott. Underneath the bearded barley, the reaper, reaping late and early, hears her ever chanting cheerly, like an angel singing clearly o'er the stream of Camelot. Piling the sheaves in furrows airy, beneath the moon the reaper weary, listening whispers, "'Tis the fairy Lady of Shalott." The little isle is all enrailed, with a rose fence and overtrailed, with roses by the marge unhailed, the shallop flitteth silken sailed, skimming down to Camelot. A pearl garland winds her head, she leaneth on a velvet bed, full royally apparelled, the Lady of Shalott. Part 2. No time hath she to sport and play, a charm web she weaves alway. A curse is on her if she stay, her weaving either night or day, to look down to Camelot. She knows now what the curse may be, therefore she weaveth steadily, therefore no other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott. She lives with little joy or fear, over the water running near, the sheep bell tinkles in her ear, before her hangs a mirror clear, reflecting towered Camelot. And in the mazy web she whirls, she sees the surly village churls, and the red cloaks of market girls pass onward from Shalott. Sometimes a troop of damsels glad, an abbot on an ambling pad, sometimes a curly shepherd lad, or long-haired page in crimson clad, goes by toward Camelot. And sometimes through the mirror blue, the knights come riding 2 and 2. She hath no loyal knight and true, the Lady of Shalott. But in her web she still delights, to weave the mirror's magic sights, for often through the silent nights, a funeral with plumes and lights, and music came from Camelot. Or when the moon was overhead, came 2 young lovers lately wed. I am half sick of shadows, said the Lady of Shalott. Part 3. A bow shot from her bower eaves, he rode between the barley sheaves, the sun came dazzling through the leaves, and flamed upon the brazen greaves of bold Sir Lancelot. A red-crossed knight forever kneeled to a lady in his shield, that sparkled on the yellow field beside remote Shalott. The gamey bridle glittered free, like in some branch of stars we see, hung in the golden galaxy, the bridle bells rang merrily, as he rode down from Camelot. And from his blazoned baldric slung, a mighty silver bugle hung, and as he rode his armor rung, beside remote Shalott. All in the blue, unclouded weather, thick jeweled shone the saddle leather. The helmet and the helmet feather burned like one burning flame together, as he rode down from Camelot. As often through the purple night, below the starry clusters bright, some bearded meteor trailing light moves over green Shalott. His broad, clear brow in sunlight glowed, on burnished hooves his warhorse trode, from underneath his helmet flowed, his coal-black curls as on he rode. As he rode down from Camelot. From the bank and from the river he flashed into the crystal mirror. Tira lira, sang Sir Lancelot. She left the web, she left the loom, she made 3 paces through the room. She saw the water flower bloom, she saw the helmet and the plume, she looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide, the mirror cracked from side to side. The curse has come upon me, cried the Lady of Shalott. Part 4. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning, the broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining, over-towered Camelot. Outside the isle a shallow boat, beneath the willow lay afloat, below the carven stern she wrote, the Lady of Shalott. A cloud-white crown of pearls she dight, all raimented in snowy white, that loosely flew, her zone in sight, clasped with one blinding diamond bright, her wide eyes fixed on Camelot. Though the squally east wind keenly blew with folded arms serenely, by the water stood the queenly Lady of Shalott, with a steady stony glance, like some bold seer in a trance, beholding all his own mischance, mute with a glassy countenance, she looked down to Camelot. It was the closing of the day, she'd loosed the chain, and down she lay. The broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shalott. As wind to sailors while they roam, by creeks and outfalls far from home, rising and dropping with the foam, from dying swans wild warblings come, blown shoreward, so to Camelot. Still as the boat had wound along, the willowy hills and fields among, they heard her chanting her death song, the Lady of Shalott. A long-drawn carol, mournful, holy, she chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her eyes were darkened wholly, and her smooth face sharpened slowly, turned to towered Camelot. For ere she reached upon the tide, the first house by the waterside, singing in her song she died, the Lady of Shalott. Under tower and balcony, by garden wall and gallery, a pale, pale corpse she floated by, dead cold between the houses high, dead into towered Camelot. Knight and burgher, lord and dame, to the planked wharfage came, below the stern they read her name, the Lady of Shalott. They crossed themselves, their stars they blessed, knight, minstrel, abbot, squire, and guest. There lay a parchment on her breast, that puzzled more than all the rest, the well-fed wits at Camelot. The web was woven curiously, the charm is broken utterly. Draw near and fear not, this is I, the Lady of Shalott. So that was the Lady of Shalott by Tennyson, and now we will go on to the Loreena McKennitt, the Lady of Shalott. On either side of the river lie long fields of barley and of rye, that clothe the world and meet the sky, and through the field the road run by to many-towered Camelot. And up and down the people go, gazing where the lilies blow, round an island there below, the island of Shalott. Willows whiten, aspens quiver, little breezes dusk and shiver, through the wave that runs forever, by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot. 4 grey walls and 4 grey towers overlook a space of flowers, and the silent isle embowers the Lady of Shalott. Only reapers reaping early, in among the bearded barley, hear a song that echoes cheerly, from the river winding clearly, down to towered Camelot. And by the moon the reaper weary, piling sheaves in uplands airy, listening whispers, 'tis the fairy, the Lady of Shalott. There she weaves by night and day a magic web with colors gay. She has heard a whisper say, a curse is on her if she stay to look down to Camelot. She knows not what the curse may be, and so she weaveth steadily, and little other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott. And moving through a mirror clear, that hangs before her all the year, shadows of the world appear. There she sees the highway near, winding down to Camelot, and sometimes through the mirror blue, the knights come riding 2 and 2. She hath no loyal knight and true, the Lady of Shalott. But in her web she still delights, to weave the mirror's magic sights, for often through the silent nights, a funeral with plumes and lights, and music went to Camelot. Or when the moon was overhead, came 2 young lovers lately wed. I am half sick of shadows, said the Lady of Shalott. A bough shot from her bower eaves, he rode between the barley sheaves. The sun came dazzling through the leaves, and flamed upon the brazen greaves of bold Sir Lancelot. A red-crossed knight forever kneeled to a lady in his shield, that sparkled on the yellow field, beside remote Shalott. His broad clear brow in sunlight glowed, on burnished hooves his war-horse trode, from underneath his helmet flowed his coal-black curls as on he rode back to Camelot. From the bank and from the river he flashed into the crystal mirror. Tira lira by the river, sang Sir Lancelot. She left the web, she left the loom, she made 3 paces taro the room. She saw the water lily bloom, she saw the helmet and the plume. She looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide, the mirror cracked from side to side. The curse has come upon me, cried the Lady of Shalott. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning, the broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining, over toward Camelot. Down she came and found a boat, beneath a willow left afloat, and round about the prow she wrote, the Lady of Shalott. And down the river's dim expanse, like some bold seer in a trance, seeing all his own mischance, with a glassy countenance, did she look to Camelot. And at the closing of the day, she loosed the chain, and down she lay. The broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shalott. Heard a carol mournful holy, chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her blood was frozen slowly, and her eyes were darkened wholly, turned to toward Camelot. For ere she reached upon the tide, the first house by the waterside, singing in her song she died, the Lady of Shalott. Under tower and balcony, by garden wall and gallery, a gleaming shape she floated by, dead pale between the houses high, silent into Camelot. Out upon the wharfs they came, knight and burgher, lord and dame, and round the prow they read her name, the Lady of Shalott. Who is this, and what is here? And in the light-hid palace near, died the sound of royal cheer, and they crossed themselves for fear, all the knights at Camelot. But Lancelot mused a little space, he said, she has a lovely face. God in his mercy lend her grace, the Lady of Shalott. So that is The Lady of Shalott by Loreena McKennitt. As you can see, they are both very, very similar to each other. In fact, there's times when it seems like Loreena took exactly what Tennyson wrote and just copy and pasted it into her song. There were a few differences that I noticed, a little bit of rearranging of some of the stanzas, and the one major difference that I noted was that in Tennyson's poem, she knew what her curse was, whereas in McKennitt's, The Lady of Shalott did not know what her curse was. The other thing that I noticed is at the ending how they ended. In Tennyson's, it ends with the knights reading the parchment that is on the Lady of Shalott as she's dead, whereas in McKennitt's, it ends with Lancelot saying, this is really sad that she's died, she has a beautiful face, type thing. And so there's a little bit of difference there as well. I've loved Loreena McKennitt's Lady of Shalott for so long, and then I read the story, and I had to go read Tennyson's, and I'm very awed with how beautiful both of these poems are, and how beautiful the music is for McKennitt's version. And the story itself in La Morte is very, very sad, very, very tragic. It basically, the Lady of Shalott dies because she loves Lancelot, which is very similar to both of these poems in that when she sees Lancelot, she leaves her loom, the mirror cracks, she's unable to go back to that, her curse has been triggered, so she goes and gets in the boat and dies before she really gets to do anything. And so it's very similar in both ways, but one of them she dies specifically because of her love for Lancelot, one of them she dies because she saw Lancelot and had to go look again, type thing. So I don't know, it's very interesting to me. I'm very much enjoying my journey through Arthurian literature right now, and I can't wait to see what else I'm going to be reading. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Poetry Thursday video. It was a lot of fun for me to make. I'm really loving this Poetry Thursday thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We post videos every Monday and Thursday. We have our social medias linked in the description down below. Please comment and like and do all the things if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay warm.